And so I think with our story, it's very much an origin story. So it's the kind of Lara Croft that is deep down in her heart the big adventurer, and she also has the kind of known traits of being very curious and interested and intelligent, but we have kind of stripped away the experience. This is from the beginning. This is her journey to become the character that we so well know. She needs to find out who she is, and she is a very bright young woman who you kind of, in the beginning of the scenes, you learn that she is a big reader and she's very curious. She just hasn't been exposed to having to use her tools just yet, and that's what this film is about. And I think it's nice to see a girl who takes up the room, and she dares to be quite loud and outspoken, and yet, you know, open to showing her vulnerability, which she does. I think I've always wanted to be part of a big action adventure, and a lot of it because of the physical aspect to it. The fact that I've been dancing for a lot of years, I've been longing to, you know, to push myself and to try all these physical, you know, action beats that I've never done in a film before. And I think I've always, or even if it's unconsciously, I kind of approach a character in quite a physical way. Maybe that's because of my dancing. And in this film, I really get to do that, so. I love her curiosity. I love her, you know, stubbornness, in the sense that she won't give up. That she can take punches and it hurts, but she can stand up again. I love her passion for adventure. Her kind of, throughout this film, I don't think in the beginning she dares to believe in the fantasies that she so much fell in love with as a kid, but as you become older, you sometimes just have to force yourself to a certain reality, or take, you know, have a distance to certain dreams. And throughout this film, I think she opens herself up and dares to believe again, and to believe in magic. And I like that about her. I hope that with any classic adventure that I've loved, that this film is going to give you just that. It's going to have the big sets and the mystical doors being opened and the mysteries evolving, you know, in front of you, and you're going to want to go on that journey. And at the same time, I'm looking forward for people to feel, to want to get to know Lara, to feel the struggle and the pain that she goes through, and vote for her while she goes on this adventure.
Lu-Ren's journey really is that he reluctantly goes on this trip with Lara, but deep down inside, he does want to know. He wants to have closure on what happened to his father. And because I think in his mind that he always chalked his father up as being a loser. And so whether his father disappeared or left or whatever, he didn't really know the true answer to that. And so coming here to this island and getting confirmation really helped truly close the book on that side of his life. I think Alicia has impressed me a lot. I think she's a beast on this movie. I think this is the first time we've seen her lead an action movie, and she's taken this bull by the horns and gone with it. Like when I first saw her, she'd physically transformed. She was much bigger than I'd seen her in the past. And it was almost like a different person completely. You know, just reading the script, I could imagine him playing it. And then the first day, actually, before I started shooting, was the Vogel scene in the tent with Lara. And just the kind of creepy, nonchalantness that he plays in the character is just amazing. I love it. It's just the right amount of evil, but not too over the top to make this character really work. The Hong Kong harbor set, that was amazing because I literally live in Hong Kong 10 minutes away from a fishing village. And when we got onto the set, I mean, all the details, like just like the little posters inside, the kind of chopsticks, the kind of things that are just around, all the props, it was very, very authentic. And it really made me feel like home, and I feel like I was back home again, especially when we were on the set with 300 extras walking around speaking Chinese. It kind of made me feel like I was back in Hong Kong. So, and the Endurance itself, I've been on many of these kind of crazy beat up shipping junks in Hong Kong. And it felt realistic. I mean, the cabin, the quarters, the galley, that, you know, a couple of scenes that we have in there, all feels really real. And, you know, added to that was the heat of the summer that we're filming in. And Cape Town felt like the Hong Kong heat as well. So, you know, these sets were impressive because it brought this really level of reality to everything and felt grounded and real. To be able to make it grounded in reality, but also have the sort of Lara Croft Tomb Raider essence as well, takes a fine balance. And I think Roar is able to do that. He's a man of few words, but he's one that's very clear and concise in what he wants. So it's great to work with him.
I mean, I've got 3 daughters, and so that was, I suppose, the heart of what appealed to me when I read the script was this father-daughter relationship and how the complexity and the emotional depth of that, which I was rather amazed to see was in this big action movie, that there was this very emotional relationship going on, that it's really at the heart of the film. So Richard Croft, he's an aristocrat, he's a lord. He lives in one of the most beautiful houses in the world, which we shot at Walton House. I think he survived in the jungle for 7 years. He's obviously got some sort of military background. He is an academic. He's archaeologist, speciality tombs. He has history with Vogel, who's the villain, whom he regards as an inferior archaeologist, an inferior academic, who has taken the coin of an evil multinational. What's emphasized in the film, in the script anyway, is this sense of a family responsibility to the world, that these noblesse oblige, I suppose, this aristocratic idea that you have a responsibility to people, and this has been taken to its extreme in the film, in that they, you know, Lord Croft, Richard Croft, keeps saying to Lara, we Crofts are here to save the world, essentially. Yeah, so one of the first scenes, I think the first scene in the film when I see her, she has her first kill, which is was a tough shoot for Alicia. Just another one, really, where she fights a full-grown, strong man in a pool of mud, and eventually manages to stab him. That's how we meet. So or meet again. So she, that was just the start of her. That was just one day in the life of Alicia. I think the action sequences are going to be pretty mind-blowing from what I saw. And as I said, there is an emotional heart to it that I think people can relate to.
The crew have done an amazing job down here in Cape Town building the sets. Gary Friedman, who is a designer I've worked with, this is my second movie with him. We did Allied together. Building the tomb, building the boats, turning Cape Town into Hong Kong for a day or two at the harbour. Hout Bay was amazing. So I think production-wise and scope-wise, I think we got a really big film here. Following the first two films, I thought Angelina was fantastic. I think it was one of the first time there was a strong female lead in a genre movie. And actually, Angie and I used to talk about if I did another one or if she did another one back then, what it would be like. And I said that, you know, I wanted to develop and reboot the franchise and make it a back to the roots story, so an audience gets to see a young Lara Croft and how Lara Croft really becomes the action superhero Lara Croft. She makes it feel so real, and even the set pieces when she's hanging off of a plane, a World War II plane, you feel that you're actually going through that, and I think an audience will go through that journey with her. This is something for all audiences, young, old, male, female, because it really does have a family connection story to it. And I think audiences will get pleasantly, hopefully pleasantly surprised about the grittiness and the true emotion of this story in a superhero type film.
When you see her, you can tell that she's she definitely she is where she needs to be Lara Croft. I think we really built the perfect Lara Croft, physically, mentally, and she looks amazing. Yeah. 4 or 5 a.m. she gets picked up in the morning. We hit the gym, and we're doing a 45-minute session in the morning normally to set a physical and a mental standard that she can carry with her all day. It's very important, if you ask me, to start the morning with that, to set the standard. Then she goes straight into makeup, eating her breakfast while in makeup. After a few hours in makeup, or an hour and a half, she gets dressed, and then it's straight into set. We're building Lara Croft. She needs to have a lot of abilities. She needs to know how to move. There needs to be fluidity, some fighting skills, and etc. So obviously we had that in mind when we started building her. So with those skills, with a little martial arts and movement training, you add strength training to that.
Yeah, we've been having lots of fun designing this movie, and it's a big adventure movie with lots of cool sets and locations, and it's a dream.
Well, I still remember when the first game came out. Me and my friends were playing it all the time back in Norway. I was really blown away by not just the gameplay, but the storytelling in it, and of course the character of Lara Croft. In this movie, we meet a very different Lara Croft than I think the wide audience is used to seeing. She's a very real girl. When we meet her, she's living in East London, working as a bike courier, trying to make the ends meet. And then she's taken out on this great big adventure. Well, Alicia is just a kick-ass actress. She brings such authenticity to every scene and such engagement in every part of the movie-making process. She trained really hard for this part, both with her trainer to get into physical shape and with the stunt coordinators to handle all the stunts. And she really gave everything in every scene. Dominic also brought a very grounded Richard. And I think he and Alicia connected really well. And I think the two of them working together on the father-daughter relationship brought a whole new level to the emotional core of the movie, and brought something I don't think we're used to seeing in a movie like this. I think what people will enjoy with this movie is it's big spectacle popcorn movie, but at the heart of it, it's an emotional core, and it's all grounded in one character, and that's Lara Croft. I think we're really going to enjoy Lara's journey in finding who she really is and becoming the Tomb Raider.
It's very rare, I think, that you meet a character that is not either at the nascent stage of their journey or the apex of their journey, like the climax of their journey. You know, you're meeting a guy who's literally on a Wednesday of the longest week of his life. Like, it's the worst Wednesday of his life, and therefore he's mired in this inertia of this Groundhog's Day repetition of finding this tomb. And you know, I guess other stories would have him finding it for Machiavellian reasons. But for this guy, he has been driven mad by this quest because he just desperately wants to see his family. You know, for him, this is a relentless quest to find something that he doesn't have much stock in how horrific this disease could be anyway. And yeah, he will kill anyone and everyone on this island to get what he wants. For me, and certainly what I've experienced with Alicia is her passion for storytelling, and the story is king. And if the story is king, and it's not about you, and it's not about your ego, or it's not about how you look, then that's just a winning combination. I hadn't met Alicia before. I knew her from through a mutual friend. And I thought if we ever got the chance to work together, something really special could happen. And literally the very first take that we did inside that tent, we looked at each other and said, yeah, this is gonna be good.